Hello and welcome, this is Oshi, and even if you can't figure out by just looking at what's on my table, this is gonna be a VR to Lisa, because after I said I can't film such a video because I haven't worked with all my decks and, you know, oracle cards, and so I can't come up with all the perfect pairings that someone who works with them worked with the cards for, you know, many months and years could. The idea still remained in my head that I want to do something with it, so I thought that I would do a little I would do a video, but I would do it a little differently. The first part is gonna be the few decks that I know that works well together, and then I thought, because I have quite a few new decks in my collection that I will need to work with, and I want to work with, that I will come up with a list that that will include decks that I think would work well together, and then after a few months or maybe a year from now on, I will post a follow-up video to see if my predictions were actually correct, or they just hated each other, or I, you know, realized that they would work well with someone else. So I have my notepad, my trusty little Twisby Eco, filled with my newest Monteverde Gryffindor ink, so we're representing a little Harry Potter in this video as well. So yeah, and yeah, I don't have such a lovely day today. I don't know, Mercury retrograde, it's usually just hits me very hard. Usually, I mean, this is the second when I actually knew it happens, but I noticed that both times when it started to end, I kind of went on a low. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand astrology that well, unfortunately. But instead of reader therapy, because the archetype of masculine archetype, yeah, that's the deck that's coming out, and I need money for that one, so I shouldn't buy anything else in the meantime. I decided that I'm gonna do a let's play with my collection therapy. So this is what you're gonna see if you haven't clicked away already. So the first one that I actually know that works, and works well, and I think for most people who buy these two would agree, but please let me know, is the Liceus Tarot, which the cards are falling out of the box. Okay, these two fall out just in case. The Ace of Wands and the Devil in reverse, which is good. So let's pull a few cards so you can see what I mean. Oh, I'm gonna make a big mess on my desk. First of all, the colors. You know, both decks are colorful. That was a weird way to say that. So let's put this away a bit, so I can actually sit down. So as you can see, I mean, I edged both of these with the same color that similar, not the same exactly, but I thought it was the same, but not. So that helps as well, but they are colorful, and even when they are not, they are the same kind of muted colors, so visually they work very well together, and they just the keywords on this deck just work very well. I think with most of my decks, to be honest. This is that kind of oracle deck that I would suggest for someone who's trying to start with an oracle deck, because I think it has everything that you need in an oracle deck to begin with, like Three of Wands and the Fates. See, I mean, okay, I flipped it over in a very awkward way because I don't have a lot of space on my desk, but go the distance, Three of Wands. Three of Wands is starting a journey, you know, embarking on a journey, and then we have to go the distance. You don't stop. You should go all the way in. So you can get very synchronistic readings with these two. So yeah, that's my first and I think the most trusted pairing in this, like this Strength and the Orphan in reverse. And the Orphan is, I think in the reverse, talks about that you're not alone, you know, that be aware of not being alone, something like that, and you need to have strength. So it can be a message about inner strength. So that's something that I really enjoy using together. Okay, the second one is two decks that I don't use these days, but I plan on giving it a chance and, you know, use it because I would love to use this, the Everyday Witch Oracle, because I really like the design and everything, but I don't find myself reaching for it, unfortunately. But it goes perfectly fine, obviously, with the Everyday Witch Tarot Mini. And I especially love the pairing because the Oracle is so big and the tarot deck is just so tiny. So you can, you know, it's just so good because you can put one card and then, I don't know, two of them next to each other from the mini, and it just visually very nice. I don't know, I enjoy that very much, you know. I like very tiny things and very big things, so that it's just right in my alley, and I really want to use it more, so I will add this in my daily reading rotation at some point for sure. And since these are done by the same artist, of course they, you know, will look good on the table next to each other because they have the same style. But my problem with the Everyday Witch Oracle, I think I can't remember if I filmed a 6 months in video with it, but my problem with it is that it's too specific to witchcraft, which is obviously because it's a witch oracle, so it's not the deck's fault. It's just something that I need to get around, you know, and whatever, get over it. So the next one and the last one in this one is, I haven't used these together because the Mood Tarot just arrived, but when I bought the Spiritual as Fuck Affirmation deck, I already knew that I would have the Mood Tarot, and because they just, you know, the similar quirky type of decks, there's always one card left in the box. They will, you know, I think that this is a pairing that's gonna give you a fun, light-hearted reading, because you can't take yourself too seriously if you have a card for the world like this. Better luck next time, and also you're drunk. And call bullshit on your bullshit. I mean, seriously, these two just out of the box work very well, and I don't just think, you know, I don't think that they will just give me funny messages. I think they will you should see the other guy, look at the fucking moon. So the moon is the other guy. They will give you quite deep meanings as well, so I'm quite curious to actually use these, and I plan on doing a what the fuck spread with the deck and, you know, adding an affirmation from the Spiritual as Fuck deck to the end of that reading. So yeah, those were the ones that I think will work. I mean, no, not think, I mean, I okay, with this thing, with the last one is still just thinking, but you know what I mean. Okay, and now we're entering into the territory of guessing game. For example, I have the Secret Destiny Oracle, which is gonna be my next 6 months in deck, because I used it in long enough now that I know. I mean, I have my opinion about the deck, and my opinion, just in short, that it pretty much works with everything. It gives very nice messages and very clear messages with other decks. But what I loved, especially loved doing in a few readings, and I want to check if it works even better, is pairing it with the Dark Mirror Oracle, because I like getting a very positive meaning, because with the Sacred Destiny you usually get a positive message, and I like to put something dark, so to speak, next to it, so I would know, you know, I would have a balanced reading. These two, I mean, if you look at it, it looks really nice, and I think, of course it's upside down because why not, they can give very powerful messages on their own. For example, we have the Envious Gluttony and the Healing Chaos with it, and I need to test the Dark Mirror a bit more, because to be honest I'm not connecting with the deck as much as I thought I would. So using these two in readings will give me an idea if it's well-rounded enough or not. And it's not the deck's fault, it never is, because it didn't claim it was, you know, for every occasion. I think it says somewhere that it's more about greed and stuff like that, so I just need to know if I need this in my collection at the moment, because I'm kind of feeling that I made a mistake by getting this one and not the, what was the title? Something with the mausolea. There is another deck that looks great for shadow work, because I picked up the Dark Mirror for shadow work, but I'm not really using that. For that I'm using the Chakoli more, or to be honest, the Sacred Destiny. So maybe I don't even need another one, who knows. I know I'm not really making sense, and I'm sorry about that, but this is very unplanned even for me. Next one, I think, let's go with the Deviant Moon. I really like this deck, as you might have noticed, but it has such a unique style that I would, you know, I was thinking about what to do, what to pair with, because right now I can only go with aesthetics and nothing more, because I mean, yeah, Sacred Destiny works well with it, but I was thinking about, I will give it a try with the Queen of Moon Oracle, because they kind of have a similar feeling, at least for me, and they are both moon decks, you know, so they should, oh, and of course it's, now this is what you get if you don't plan your video more, and I really apologize. I know it's you know, an all over the place video, and I'm sorry if you're watching it, but I just had to do something. And like I said, it's therapy. So we have Change with the Thunder Moon, and we have the Two of Cups. So you can play this together like you have a relationship that you think that, you know, everything is working fine, and you know, you found the love of your life or whatever. And but we have the change, so change is coming in. Will your relationship able to handle it or not? I mean, Nine of Pentacles, boundaries. So, and oh, this is really cool, because both cards has so much abundance on it. So like I said, I think visually it just works very well together, but we will see if they work well together in readings as well. So this is a pairing that I will test in daily readings. I think most of them will be tested in the daily readings that I started to post, because those give me enough playtime with decks. unless you're like to, you know, book a reading with me and you specifically would like this pairing, then, you know, do let me know. Next one, I'm still using the Heaven and Earth deck for, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna use it next month, but for this time and for the dailies I'm still working with this deck, because this is my, I have no idea if I was in frame, sorry. I forgot to check, but I should have been. So this is my winter deck, but I haven't really played around with it lately. I mean, with other oracles. So what I definitely want to test out is how it works, because they have the similar, you know, similar tones of colors with the Angelarium deck. I mean, I'm not gonna say the Angel of Mercy looks like the Devil, because that would be mean. But I think they will give me, you know, great readings. Angel of Sky and Strength. Because this Angel of Sky, for example, talks about being protected. All these little rings are there, and you know, it's the main message of it is protection, and that can be, you know, that can work very well with strength, because having strength doesn't just mean that you are strong, it can also mean a responsibility to protect others, or it can mean that you are protected, you know, because Angel of the Sky is someone higher than you. So just try to focus on retaining your strength, because you are protected. So if you're going through a rough patch, just try to hold on, try to move forward, because things are going to get better. So I think with Empathy and the Hermit, like I said, visually they look very nice next to each other. So I think they will work well together, but who the hell knows? So we're gonna test this soon. So yeah, this is another pairing that I'm quite curious to work with. Next one is the Spacious Tarot. I haven't used it for a while, because I, you know, went overboard with getting new decks, and I kind of only played with the new ones that were coming in my collection, which is never a good thing. So that's why I'm only planning on buying a few decks this year, so I'm not gonna have that much new stuff coming in, so I will actually have time to play with the ones that I have. But I'm planning on pairing this one with the also newly arrived When My Soul Whisper deck, because they both have that. I love that it's so small. I'm so happy that it's such a small deck. They have that airy and clear and empty in a good way feel to them. So okay, let's move my note over there. Okay, of course we don't do reversals, but see, Hermit and Divinity. The Hermit. Which what did I say? Hermit? The Hermit and Divinity. So, you know, how do you find the knowledge? You find it maybe connecting to something higher than yourself. Emotion 9 of Wands with flowers under the cards. So I think they will. 8 of Cups and Empathy. So see, they already like to play very well with each other, and I like that most of the cards that I pulled right now are darker, and then there's a light, so there's a contrast between the cards, which I appreciate. Journey and 2 of Wands, but in the reverse. So yeah, I think this pairing is gonna work very well, but you know, this is just my first blink assumption, so we have to test them. But I will let you know if you're curious about anything So yeah, I forgot to mention, but if you want to see some other pairings, because you see two decks that you think that would work well together, please do let me know, because then I will add them to my rotation and then I can update you guys if they are, you know, play nicely together or they don't. The next pairing is still with this deck. I mean the Oracle, the same Oracle, my Soul Whispered Oracle, but with my... Honestly, I just love this deck. I don't know if I can call it my soul deck, because I'm kind of thinking that the next, I will have a trouble saying that, but you know, their upcoming dragon deck is gonna be my soul deck. I don't know why I'm so sure about it, but I kind of have high hopes, so I'm so excited for that one. That's one that I'm actually really, for sure, 100%, I don't care, I'm selling a kidney, I'm gonna get that deck. So I think that's gonna be my soul deck, but until then, I kind of feel like that this became my soul deck, which is so weird, because I didn't think that an animal deck would connect with me so well. But because they have the same, similar, you know, watercolor style, visually they just, I think, work very well together. We have the Devil in the Reverse and Transcend, Ladybug, Worthy, and Three of Cups, which could talk about you're not feeling worthy to be in a friendship, for example. You know, you don't think anyone would be friends with you and stuff like that. So I can't wait for this pairing, because it just looks so nice together. Queen of Swords in reverse and Healing. So this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. And also I came up with a little spread when I was setting up my shop, and this is not, you know, like advertisement. Oh Jesus, why is this word is so hard. I just mean that I came up with a spread that I will do a little video about it, so if you want to try it out, you can try it out as well. It's called The Bridge, and it's pretty much, it's not that, you know, complicated, but I think it's just can be helpful to see how you connect to a situation and how you connect to the solution. And I think for that spread, this combination will work very well. So maybe I will do a video about it and test the spread with these two, and then I can see it in that setting as well, because I think testing these cards in spreads will be very nice. So I might, you know, start playing around with spreads in my pick a card readings, for example. But yeah, this is definitely a pairing that I think will work well together. And on top of these two, I can always throw in, oh, that was bad, a Flower Petals Affirmation card, because visually I think that's, you know, that will work. Oh, can I pull it down? Yeah, that would work well as a third one, or not. I don't know, maybe that takes away from it, we'll see. But these two definitely, you know, all the white, it just complement each other very nicely. And I think I'm realizing that I really like complementing decks, and I really like contrasting ones, which I guess is everybody, but okay. So I pulled out all my decks, but I don't think I'm going to get them all, because I don't see all the pairs right now. I see a few remaining pairs, so please bear with me. One of them is the newly arrived Ostara Tarot, and I think it's gonna be paired well, very nicely with my illustrated Crystallarium. How do you say the Crystallary? Yeah, illustrated Crystallary. Because I don't know, it just both make me think about spring, you know, and new beginnings and stuff like that. Why is this shouldn't be reversed? But the Fool, you live in abundance. I don't know if they will play nicely together, because I don't even know how I'm gonna, you know, play with this deck myself because it's a kind of like a weird one in a good way, hopefully. But I think visually they pair very well together, and since it has a lot of springish and earthy thing in it, but not in the foresty kind of earthy, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense to you. You know, it's not full of trees, it's more like the small things, the flowers, and just, of course there's Rita. I don't know, it just gives me that kind of feeling that it would work well together with this one, but you know, let's see. Because I have no idea, I haven't worked with this one yet. The next one is also two newly arrived, and actually they are both my birthday present decks for myself, so oh, thank you me. But I know that they are not in the same realm as this one is the Field Guide to Garden Dragons, and this is the Dark Mansion Tarot, and they are different in art style, but for some reason, for me, just I think they're gonna work because I love dragons so much, and I think both of them are giving me that fantasy, book fantasy vibe that I really, you know, I'm drawn to, because one of the favorite genre in books is fantasy that I love to read. And why is every card? Okay, it's everything is because I haven't used it yet, so it's pretty much not, maybe not in order, but in the right orientation. Patience and the Queen of Cups, and they're looking at each other. So I think strength with Two of Swords. I mean, for example, isn't that just you need strength to make a good decision? King of Cups, resilience, because you can't become a king if you're not resilient. So yeah, I think these will just work well together, and I hope they will, because they give me that extra magical special feeling for the decks, and I want them to work together. So yeah, that's another pairing that I'm quite looking forward to using, and to be honest, handling, because the Dark Mansion Tarot is just so nice. And the last one is the Wildwood Tarot, paired with the Celtic Tree Oracle, which I got as a gift from the very lovely Madwitch. Yeah, I filmed the walkthrough of the deck, which was kind of like a disaster, but I decided to keep it because that was my first impression, not because of the deck, because just I wasn't feeling very good while filming the video. But I think it's important to be honest, our first impressions about, you know, decks, and that was my first impression, because I let things, you know, get in the way, and I just kind of feel like it's important to keep these as well, because we're working with energies and stuff like that. So if I just say that, oh, 6 months from now this is my favorite deck, and you don't know, or I don't know, you know, I kind of stop myself from remembering how it started, that I lose something. But just you know, just a side note. But these are very earthy and very shamanistic for me. This deck is not just an oracle deck. It uses the how do you say that? Ongum. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm trying to check if it's spelled somewhere on the back of the box. Ah, of course not, because why would you help me? But you know, that system with the little, I think it works with wood and these carvings. I haven't looked into the system yet. I'm fascinated by it. I want to know more about it, because I see bits and pieces of of them in other people's videos, so, and I'm always curious about other divination systems. But besides that, these are very, very earthy and foresty tone, obviously, because it's tree and a forest, so trees all around. So they should work in theory very well together. But because they both have their own system, I don't know if that's gonna be the case. And right now I don't know the meaning of the trees in this deck, so I can't even tell if they give out good readings already, because I don't know. But just by looking at it, it matches, so it should be. So I'm very hopeful, and I really like the back. I mean, such a simple and green, and with the Celtic knots, and I love it. And I really hate this border. I mean, not the border itself, but the stupidest copyright. And yeah, I'm thinking about trimming the deck and trying out that spray paint method that Kelly from the Truth in Stories suggested. I just need to look around and see what type of spray paint she was using, or what I can get my hands on and test it on something, because rebacking them would be such a pain. And if you cut them, they don't match with the borders, so they look really not so nice. Because I love the tree, and even the backs are matching in that way. So in theory, these two should work together, and this deck would just look so much better without the white borders. But because it's not based on the traditional Rider-Waite system, and I'm not familiar enough with its system, because I haven't started working with it yet, but I promise this is gonna be my autumn deck for sure, autumn deck combination, upcoming autumn. I wouldn't cut off the titles, because I couldn't use it yet. And I was thinking about it first to trim this one, because the back is so cooperative that you can just pretty much do whatever. But I'm not sure I want to do that actually. I kind of enjoy the borders for now. I mean, I like this one. I don't really like necessarily this one, but you can't have this without that, so maybe one day I will be. I mean, it would be so much easier to handle if I cut it down to inside of that one, but I'm not entirely sure they would be the same size. And yeah, I don't know. I will work with it and then decide, because if I can't work with it and we are not connecting, I don't want to ruin it for someone else if I'm gifting it away. But yeah, these are the decks that I'm thinking about that would work well together. Like I said, if you saw something that you would think that screaming at the screen that why you didn't pair with the, I don't know, Celtic tree with the Dark Mansion or whatever, please do let me know, because I will add them to my list. Is my not so nice and not pretty handwriting, but I just wanted to say that see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 in the guessing game, so it's gonna be enough for now, I think. And please do let me know if you have any of these combinations and you're using them, and what's your not just opinion. I mean, come on, let's put this back so you have something to look at. You have something, you have experience with any of the pairings, because I'm very, very curious. And yeah, that's all I think, and I hope it wasn't that horrible to watch, because it was, like I said, an ad hoc, just on the fly video more than my usual ones. So yeah, like, subscribe, do all the jazz, and everything is gonna be in the description down below. if you post something similar, please use the hashtag Lisa provided so she and I can find it, and I'm looking forward to watching yours. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.